really dropping out like flies.
Well, tonight's also parent-teacher conferences for a bunch of schools.
Is that so?
Really? Which schools?
I know it's at least for Tag High School. My wife and I just finished that a little while ago. So I don't know how late that goes, but or how
I
many other
acted
schools are doing it
on
now.
Zoom. I acted like it was in person. I did not do anything.
Oh, it's parent-teachers conferences on Zoom?
Yeah, we
It's
actually went to
awesome.
the car, so we wouldn't have any problems. The
Yeah,
teacher's like, "Oh, that's a great idea."
Last night was Yeshiva Katana. Tonight was Tag High School. So,
I heard Yeshiva Katana offered in person also.
yeah, but why would we choose yes?
Oh no,
Why
I
would we
agree.
choose yes?
The parents in our school loved it. Loved it.
What?
Unfortunately, I
to
think
do
it's going to
Zoom.
go back to the old way eventually.
No, they're not. They're not Zoom. They're not because the yeshiva that I work in is in Brooklyn, and parents not having to go out and find parking and wait online for each other. The fact that they can just get in on the Zoom, they have the waiting room. It's a machaya.
It was very fast. We went through, I don't know, 10 teachers in 45 minutes.
No. As a parent, I still didn't go. I just had my wife go. No, let's not. I don't want to be efficient. I don't want anybody to have any ideas over here.
Yeah.
No, I used to go.
Oh,
It
yeah?
was mamish. It was all night when Kanara and my daughters were in Tag. It was mamish all night thing. I don't know, maybe the way they said it, I don't remember, but it was the whole night. You had this 5, 6, 7 different teachers. It was the whole night.
As a teacher and as a parent, just make a phone call if there's a problem.
Correct. Listen, you know what? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna, if you don't know what's going on with your kid, then you know what I mean, and you need to go to PTA for that, then you got problems.
The truth is, you don't often get to really be served those stale bakery cookies like any other time.
I'm glad you once tried them.
What, you think Judy eats cookies? Come on.
Never. Only parent-teacher conferences. Because they brought out the same platter that they had the last time. Like I should try to
buy both.
Help out.
Yeah. Okay, ready to roll? Did we waited long enough?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Where's Parrots? He's on there? What do you guys schlep the smoker pack? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, my son is coming home from yeshiva and going back for another 5 weeks. Last week they didn't deliver any food, so they just had challah fish and the little piece of meat that I sent them. They sliced it into small, tiny pieces.
Uh-huh.
So I got to make now. By the time we're running out for Shabbos, Hanukkah, he's going back Sunday, so I got to get it onto the smoker now.
What a father. That's a PTA right there. That's a PTA.
Now, listen, you got to calculate how it works. So I'm watching a barbecue show. The guy says you have to start when you want to take it off the grill. That's your starting point. And then you work backwards. It's a good Musar Haskell.
There you go. Okay.
I'm putting myself up for adoption. I hope you have takers.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay, so let's go. Yeah. We have another exciting night here of Tumah and Tahara.
How have we not recognized that Naphtali is out of bed, by the way? I feel like I should point that out.
Not only that, I got a new webcam. I'm like going all crazy now.
We're just happy to see you. That's all.
This is gonna. I know it's been a crazy couple of days. This is gonna be
those upsharons really take a lot of time. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, especially how much you cut off his hair.
That's right.
One day we're gonna do an upsharon inside the house, inside your house, instead of on the curb.
What can you do? I'm not Reb Chaim Kanievsky. I can't be disturbed for that long when I.
At least it was the curb, not in the car like Dovey.
No, mine was a curb this time.
It was a curbside too. Listen, It's Corona. We do curbside upshare.
Yeah.
What, a drive-by snip?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly what
He
it
stuck
is.
his head out the window and he drove by with the scissors out.
Did he actually stop the car? No, it just kept on going.
No, it's much quicker if you don't stop the car.
As long as you don't have the drive-by mailbox at the same time as the drive-by upshare.
That wouldn't be so good.
That would be confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So ready? So let's chazer from yesterday just quickly.
See, Yaakov, when are we going to start begging for Erevin again?
Yeah.
Listen, Motzei Shabbos.
You said five more block. You said.
I feel like we're at that
now we're down to
point.
four. Four,
Yeah.
yes. 4 more blocked. 4 more
Ervin's
blocked.
looking mighty fine right now.
I already took Tylenol
Yes,
before.
yes, it is. This is really the hardest. I think
See, Yaakov,
this is the hardest. Yeah.
you'll enjoy it very much. Go on Yeshiva World. It's 1 minute, or Chaim should live and be well. Somebody tells him a story,
Yeah.
and because he gave a bracha to something, so he says the fellow says his bracha because Reb Chaim says Al tiyeh birchas edit kal beinecha. He's laughing when he says it because he's the one he gave the bracha. He's mamish. It's so enjoyable to see him like that. It's mamish. It's fantastic. It's mamish fantastic. Yeah.
All right. I'll have to check it out. Okay. Very good. Shkoyach. Yeah. Anyways, no. So it's over on Friday. The Friday's daf is the last of this, and then we go back to Pesachim. Okay. Anyway, so and we're gonna have a lot more of this tonight. It's just the Machlokes if liquid as tumah, is it from the Rabban or from the Torah? Right. That was basically the whole Amud. Yeah, and then we discussed what liquids make something hechsher lekabel tumah. Okay, so that's we are up to so then we discussed what's it called? Chagai, right? At the end of when they were going back to the Beis Hamikdash, right? So I'm looking for it. Where's the pasuk?
4 lines to the bottom. Tesayim base.
Yeah, Tesayim base.
Yeah. So all right. So right. V'noga b'kanfei el alechem. So it's important that we get this pasuk straight for this next Gemara. So hein yisa ish basar kodesh b'knaf pigdoi. Right. If it's holding a piece of basar in the edge of the clothing. V'noga b'kanfei el halechem, to the bread. Ve'el hanozid is to meat. Ve'el hayayin to wine. El hashemen to oil. So there's 4 things here: bread, meat, wine, and oil, of which 2 of them are liquid. Yeah. So now we're going to try and figure out: is this a raya with whether liquids? That's what the Gemara wants to know. Whether it's mashra from here that liquids can become tamei. Right. So the Gemara answers that was according to Rav. Right, meaning that Rav differentiates between liquids that are from the shechting area of the Beis Hamikdash and liquids that are from the on top of the mezbeach. Liquids on top of the mezbeach can become tamei. Liquids from the shechting area cannot become tamei. But whatever it is, so what that was that there was a test over whether these Kohanim got it right, and they answered that it was tamei.
Does liquids from the shechting area mean blood?
Mostly blood, yes.
Nothing else, right? I mean, bodily fluids?
It seems like there's water. If there's any water that gets spilled, that would be the same thing. That's what it seems. Right? So now the Gemara is going to discuss here what Chagai. So again, Chagai gave a bechina to the Kohanim and gave him this riddle. I don't know, not a riddle, the test. That if the meat touched the clothing, and then the clothing to the bread, and the bread to the meat, and then the meat to the wine, and then the meat to the oil. So what's the status, right? So Gufa, right? 3 lines down from the top. Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. Gufa. Rav Amar Ishtavish Kahani. Rav says the Kohanim made a mistake. They were incorrect when they said tamei. Shmuel Amar Lo Ishtavish Kahani. They did not make a mistake, right? Rav Amar Ishtavish Kahani. Right? Rav says that Kohanim made a mistake because it was riviis b'kodesh. right? He was asking he was asking them about the fourth level of Amrulei Tar, and they said to him, Tar. I'm sorry, I said before they said tamei. Right? No, they said tar. I'm sorry. I think I said the word tamei. Either way, they said tar, but it's not because it's a riviis. And we know by kodesh, by kachim, there's 4 levels of tumah. Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, riviis for kachim. Truma only gets 3 levels. Kachim gets 4 levels. So he was asking them about kachim, and they said it's tar, and really it's not. It's puzzle. So Rav says they messed up. They flunked the faher, the Kohanim. Shmuel Amar lo yishtavish kahani chamishi v'kodesh ba'amina. He was asking them about a 5th level. And he said tar, because of course there is no 5 levels of tumah for kachim. Once you hit 4, that's the end of the line. So now the Gemara says, Bishlam l'Rav hainu t'chsiv arba. It says 4 things in the pasuk. It touched bread, and then nazid, and then meat, v'yayin, then wine, and then shem, and then oil. Shmuel chamisha minale, but Shmuel, where do you get 5? There weren't 5 things mentioned here. So then the Gemara answers, Miksiv v'nogav kanfai. Does it say that his kanaf, his clothing, literally the corner, touched, right? It doesn't mean that the sheretz touched the bread. V'nogav big kanfai ksiv. It says it touched with the clothing. B'masha nogav b'kanfai. It's something that got touched by the kanfai. So that's meaning. There's adding the clothing in is adding in 1 more level of tumah. So therefore, he was asking about 5 level, meaning the shemen was actually chamishi. It was the 5th, right? Yeah.
Didn't we say, looking at the pictures, doesn't a liquid make it back to Rishon? Didn't Rabbi say that at one point?
A rishon is metama something if but that could be a derabbanan dikatin. That's a derabbanan dikatin. Here we're trying to figure out what's the if it's deraisa, and in the Beis Hamikdash we're going to say it's not going to count. That's going to be all the Machlokes that we're going to get to tonight. To Chagai, but yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so very good. So that's the Machlokes Rav and Shmuel, whether they made a mistake or not. Fine. Toshima, Vayomer Chagai. Chagai said, Im yiga tamei nefesh b'chol eila. If somebody who's tamei, meaning tamei nefesh, he's tamei mace, so that means he's an avatuma, touches in all these things, which is bread, the meat, all that stuff. Hayi tamei, will he become tamei or not? So this was question number 2. Right? First he asked him if the clothing touches the bread touches the meat touches the oil, the wine, and then the oil. Now he's saying stam. If somebody who's tamei mace touches any one of these things, does it become tamei? And the Kohanim answered, yeah, of course they're going to become tamei. An avatuma touches some things, and they become tamei. So then Gemara says, Bishlam l'Shmuel midahacha lo yishtavish, hasam nami lo yishtavish. A very interesting question, right? According to Shmuel, they didn't make a mistake in the first question, so they didn't make a mistake in the second question. Ela l'Rav, ma'ishnahacha d'yishtavish or ma'ishnahacha lo yishtavish. But according to Rav, how come here they made a mistake and here they didn't make a mistake? Right? Meaning in the first question, by riviis, they messed up. In this question, they didn't mess up. They didn't mess up.
What kind of question is that?
I wish I knew. I wish I understood. I understand. You can't get a 50 on a test. I would be very happy with a 50 on a test personally, especially when it came to kachim. Right? Here he's saying that's what he's asking.
I don't have a full svara meaning as to why this would be, but maybe it's you can't get the second question right without knowledge of the first question.
Yeah, I would think no.
I don't have a way to show that, but
no, I would think the second question you can get right. Right, that's just something touches an avatuma. Right, that's fairly simple. The second question is a little bit more complicated. No,
that's why if you would get the second question right, you would have gotten the first one right. That's the basis of the question.
Oh, I hear. Okay, I hear what you're saying. If you can get the second question, you should be able to get the first question. But you every time a kid's, I don't know, you're Rebbe. You get a kid. If you answered the complicated question, right? You couldn't answer the easy question.
It's exactly
Right,
our
but
mahalik and chinuch. Whatever will make them feel more guilty and dumb. That's the way we earn our. That's the way we earn our money.
But
There
Yaakov,
you
it's
go.
exact same
We have to
question
support the
according
social
to
workers. So we have mechanchim and social workers. We try to work off each other.
Correct. I hear that. Yeah. So what are you saying, Akiva? It's the same question.
According to Rav, it would come out to be the exact same question. According to Shmuel, it's two different questions, and once they got one right, so according to Rav, it's a question of tamei mace to sheretz. That's the only thing Chagai is changing. And if they got one wrong, why should it change when it comes to tamei mace? That's what the Gemara is asking.
Right. Okay. Well,
that's the way Rashi explains it. Rashi says that it's exact same seder. It's just tamei mace instead of sheretz. So they messed up on one. Why would they be? Why would Rav assume?
Right. So that's the
why
thing.
Would Chagai assume?
Oh, right. So if you read the Pasha of the Gemara, it sounds like you just asked if it touches an avatum.
No, that's
right.
Not the way
But Rashi, right?
It.
1 second. So Rashi's saying, So Rashi's saying that it's not like that. It's the same case. Instead of touching a sheretz, it touched a tamei mace, right?
It's just the beginning part that changes.
Correct. But so that really the Gemara is going to answer that. I'm saying, but it still doesn't answer why can't they make a mistake from one to the other?
Why should it matter if they don't understand the idea of riviis tumah? So why should it matter if they messed up inside riviis tumah? Why should they not mess it up again when it comes to tamei mace?
Correct, but they could because maybe they don't.
That's the chilek.
Maybe they don't understand tumah sheretz though.
That's the Gemara's teretz. When the Gemara's havamina, the Gemara is
that's
saying
the Gemara's teretz, right? So what's
but I'm saying the havamina is saying that the difference would have been the fact that maybe they would have known about shlishi riviis. It's a question of shlishi riviis, and the Gemara's havamina. The Gemara is saying it doesn't. At least according to Shmuel, there's a difference between riviis and chamishi, and once they knew the chilek, you can understand why they knew riviis also. But according to Rav, why should they not know? Why should they know the difference? Why should they be able to answer this one if it's the same question from inside riviis?
Right. Okay, but all right.
Unless there could be another way around.
What do you mean?
I'm just thinking. Chagai was a navi. He was sent by the Rebbeinu Shalom on shlichus. According to Rav, it looks like the shlichus was to show how weak the Kohanim were. According to Shmuel, the shlichus was to show how strong they were. So
you're already saying
they
a
could
deep
get one
word,
wrong. That was his shlichus to prove how bad they are. How could they get the other one right?
Okay, that's already a shtickle deep word that you're saying. Okay, but I want to just be mazed what
I thought it was just can open up the Beis Hamikdash again. Nothing like you. You just needed to open the Beis Hamikdash. You wanted to know if you had people to work there.
Right. So the thing is,
so either he was.
Right. So then the Gemara in a few lines from that sounds like it's talking about opening the Beis Hamikdash plus what's going to be in the future. Right. Well, we'll get to that. But
in the future, they'll have their children who are learning by such kosher riviis. Then the children will know it once they open the Mikdash again.
Yeah, that's a hope. That is a hope, right? But anyway, so what Akiva's saying, and that's what Rashi, he's saying that this question is essentially the same question as before. Before it was a sheretz, and here it's a tamei mace, but then it's the same riviis, sheni, shlishi, riviis, shaila. So, right? So the way Rashi is explaining the kasha is like, it's the same question. Is it a riviis, tar, or tamei? Just one is the original, the tumah originated from a sheretz, and here the tumah originated from a human. So if he got it right by the human, if he got it wrong, either way, if he got it wrong by the human, well, it's not either way, I'm sorry. He's saying that if they made a mistake, right? So then why would they get it right in one case and wrong in the other? Okay, so let's see about this. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav Ravua. The Kiyan ain't betumas mace, ain't bekiyan and betumas sheretz. No, they were bekiyan and tumas mace. They weren't bekiyan and tumas sheretz, right? So therefore, they must have thought the din was different, even though it's essentially the same questioning. Okay, Ravina Amar Hasam Riviis Hacha Shlishi. No, there it was a riviis. Right? He was asking about a riviis. Hacha, he was asking them about a shlishi. Right? Right, and therefore they knew about shlishi, they didn't know about riviis. Right, so meaning, so when it says tamei nefesh, it's not that somebody touched a tamei nefesh, right? It's talking about that It's you jumping it. It's the bread must have touched the mace. Not that a bread, in the beginning we thought the mace touched the person touched the bread. No, we're jumping the person now. Just the bread touched the mace. Okay, so now the Gemara is going to ask a few questions.
Bread can become an tumah?
No, it's a rishon, no?
It's the same thing. Bread is rishon, then it's sheni, shlishi, riviis.
No,
you would have to
bread,
say
yes.
the bread becomes
Rashi says the bread becomes an av.
That has to be
food. No, but one second. Food. I have to try and remember now. Food can
become an av. It starts with a rishon.
Right. So we got to look at that. Right. So 1 second.
The art scroll mentions Tosfos on Yudalit Amud Aleph answers it, but I don't. That's beyond me what the answer.
Right. So that's right. Meaning. Right. So the pshat is that, man, this stuff is wild. The pshat is that enochanami, it can't become an avatuma, but in the pecking order of levels of tumah, it does become an avatuma. Meaning it itself is not an avatuma. It's a rishon, but in the pecking order, it gets the status of an av, because lamaisa it touched a piece of. What do you called? You called it yesterday. A conduit, right? Somebody called it a conduit. Somebody said that, right? Yesterday, it's a conduit. Well, with the water, you was right. You said it, right? See, right? But it was that was referring to water. But here, the bread is the same thing. It's a conduit for the tumah. Right, so it gets an av. It gets the av status, but it itself doesn't become an av. Okay, shine. That's how you have to answer that. So Toshima, Vayan Chagai. So now we ask kashas. Vayan Chagai. So Chagai answered, Vayomer Ken Omazeh V'chein Hagoy Yazel Lefonai Nu'um Hashem. Right. So now, of course, what does this pasuk say anything about tumah? So then it says the goymer. Right. The ikar raya from the pasuk is from the end, which the Gemara doesn't even quote. Look in the Rashi says, Sefer Dekra v'chein kol ma'asi yedayim v'asher yakrivu sham tamei hu. Right? So why they bring the first part of the pasuk and not the main part that we're bringing the raya from? I have no idea. Right? But Baruch Hashem, Rashi made it that we don't have to go look up a nach, and we can just see the end of the pasuk. So he's saying that it's tamei. Bishlam Rav Hainu Dusif tamei. Rav. So according to Rav, that the Kohanim made a mistake, so that's why it says tamei. Shmuel amai tamei. But according to Shmuel, why is he saying everything that Kohanim did was tamei? Meaning, according to Rav, that they failed the test. Okay, so then how can we trust them, right? But according to Shmuel, that they passed the test. So why is Chagai saying the things that they're doing is tamei? So Gemara says, you don't read the pasuk that it's a statement that Chagai is saying that everything these Kohanim are dealing with is tamei. No, he's saying, and it should be tamei, right? They got it right. I should make things tamei. They did it correctly. Oh, but Gemara asks, but it says in all the ma'aseh of all their ma'asim, right? Whatever they did. So that sounds like it's not a lashon tamiyah, right? Rashi says the word v'chein doesn't sound like lashon of like a question, it's a statement. Since they are going to the kilgulos masayim, they're not going to act properly. So therefore, the pasuk makes it as if did it b'tamei, right? Yeah, he's talking. Rashi says it's talking about in the future what's going to be. Okay, now we go like a shtickle chazara of the last blot. So Gufa, Rav Tani, Mashki Beis Bat B'chaya, Levi Tani Mashki Beimad B'chaya. Right? Rav learned that where is there no tumah of liquid in the Beis Hamikdash? Only by the shlechting. Tavach means to shecht, only in the shechting area. The Levi Tana, meaning that's the only area that's tahar, that liquids don't become tameh. And Levi learns Mashki Beimad B'chaya, that it's also talking about the stuff that goes on the mezbeach, right?
Is that a din in what liquids it was, or it's like Rabbi said the other day that it's a gezerah, it's excluded the beimid v'chaya?
It's right. It's excluding. It's excluding, right? So he's saying not only is it by the shechita area, it's also on top of the carbon. Right? Yeah, that's Levi's shita. So according to Levi, when there's a bomb kasha that should be asked, right? Which really, I think, what Gershon posted is the kasha, right? But let's Levi hanichas for Chanukah I'm talking about. So Levi hanichas really like a Shmuel. Levi, if he held like Shmuel, the Amar Dachan Milatama Tumas Acherim, that it's tahar. The Beis Hamikdash liquids are tahar from making other things tamei. Aval Tumas Atzman Yesh Len, but they do have their own tumah. Mishkachas la denagi kulu barishon. So we can find a case where they all touch the rishon. Eli savarle karav, but if he holds like Rav, the Amar Dachan Mamish, that everything is tahar. Heichi mishkachas la. How can you find a case where there's oil that's tamei? So it must be he holds like Shmuel that everything can become tamei. It just can't make things. It can't make other things tamei. But even in the Beis Hamikdash, things can become tamei. Right? That's why we must hold like Shmuel. So Levi has to hold like Shmuel. Then we say, well, a Shmuel, right? Who says that the oil is going to be tar? So that's good if Shmuel holds like Rav, which is also in itself a chiddush, right? That Shmuel is going to be holding like Rav. The tani mashke beis matbechaya, that the only liquids that are tar are from the shechita. Aval mashke bei mitbechaya, but the liquids from on top of the mezbeach, achrini nami mitama. Not only will they become tamei, they could also make other things tamei. So then riviis. That's a riviis will not make a chamishi. Hashlishi of a riviis, but a shlishi will make a riviis. The tani that if he holds like Levi, who says even the liquids that are on top of the mezbeach don't become tamei. Then my ira your riviis the loy of a chamishi. That why are you saying that a riviis is not going to make a chamishi? If you lose sheni v'shlishi nami loy avdi, it's not even going to make a sheni and shlishi because liquids on the top of the mezbeach can't become tamei. Al kosher karav svirule must be holds like Rav that liquids from on top of his mezbeach do become tamei. So again, Levi holds like Shmuel and from one Machlokes to the other, and Shmuel holds like Rav from a different Machlokes. Fine. Tani kavasei the Rav, Tani kavasei the Levi. So we have a brisa like Rav, we have a brisa like Levi. Tani kavasei the Levi, hadam v'hayayin v'hashem v'hamayim mashki be'bedachaya. So blood, wine, oil, and water from on top of the mezbeach. Shenitmu b'fnim v'yitziu l'chutz. Let's say, so we're saying that really liquids do become tamei, but in the Beis Hamikdash they did not become tamei because we're not looking to make d'Rabbanan, right? We're not. Again, if you say that in the Beis Hamikdash the liquids don't become tamei, that means the tumah of liquids is d'Rabbanan, and the Rabbanan didn't extend their gzeira to the Beis Hamikdash because they wanted to keep as little of tumah in the Beis Hamikdash as possible, right? But what happens if you took liquids out of the Beis Hamikdash, right? They became tamei in the Beis Hamikdash, which means that they're tar, but then you took the liquids out of the Beis Hamikdash. Do they all of a sudden get back their tumah? It's a very interesting question. Again, in the Beis Hamikdash, they're tar because we said that the Rabbanan never made the exam in the Beis Hamikdash. Fine. Now you took him out of the Beis Hamikdash. Does the tumah automatically go on it, or is it grandfathered in? And we say no, it never became tamei in the Beis Hamikdash. So even out of the Beis Hamikdash, it's not a problem, right? So tahirin. Let me just go back and read it. Mashki beimad v'chaya, the liquids from the mezbeach.
It doesn't come back because it never was there.
What do you mean? No, we're talking about liquids that were. No, the liquids were in the Beis Hamikdash.
Right, they're not tamei, right?
They became tamei, but they don't become. They don't get
exist in the Mikdash, so then they're not tamei.
They. You don't like the.
No.
They became tamei.
They're not tamei,
correct?
Mikdash.
But they're only not tamei.
The Rabbanan tumah doesn't exist in the Beis Hamikdash.
Right.
So.
So now it went out of the Beis Hamikdash, so maybe the tumah. Right, so but that's what he's saying. The Gemara is going to ask, but right now the Gemara is thinking, "Shenitmu b'fnim v'yitzion l'chutz tahirin," like you're saying, right? If they became tamei inside and you took them outside, the Torah. Let's say it goes the other way around. became tamei outside the Beis Hamikdash, and then you brought it into the Beis Hamikdash, right? Nitmu b'chutz, v'chnisam b'fnim, and then you brought it inside, then that's going to be tamei, right? So that brisa is clearly learning, that the Beis Hamikdash does not make things tamei, right? Otherwise, this whole shiloh wouldn't begin. Yeah. So anything what it says not true. V'amar of Yeshua ben Levi, mashki beibin v'chaya loy amru dachen ela b'mekayman. This that we said that the liquids by the mezbeach don't become tamei. That's only in its place. Doesn't he mean to exclude if it became tamei inside and you took it outside that it should become tamei? So we say loy, no, lemute opposite. Loy lemute nitmu b'chutz v'chnisam b'fnim. It's coming to exclude if it became tamei outside and he brought it inside. It says in its place, right? It's mashma only in its place are they tar, but not. Let me just finish. No, it's only we're only going to say it's tar if it became tamei in its place, then it's tar. But if it became tamei someplace else, then it's going to be tamei even if we bring it inside. What are you saying?
So let's say sukkos, right? In the time of the Mikdash, they only took it first day in the Mikdash. That's the only time you took a lulav, right?
Right.
So let's say I was in the Mikdash and I didn't bench lulav, but I had a chiyuv because I was in the Mikdash. Now I went outside. Or fakert, I was outside and then I came inside. So can I compare that to this Machlokes by the tumah? The tamei dam.
Why? I'm saying, what's the tushta?
Because I was chayiv to bench lulav because I was in the Beis Hamikdash, and I didn't. Right. Can I bench now outside the Mikdash? Because it was the guys who lived in Bnei Brak. They never had the chiyuv. They never had the chiyuv. But I was in the Mikdash, and I didn't bench for whatever reason.
No, but I saw everybody has to bench lulav.
So the other days, not
you
the
mean
first
the other
day.
days?
Excuse me. I said it the wrong way. Excuse me.
Yeah. So the other days, you're asking the other days, and you were. I hear that question. I don't know. Yeah. So very good. So Tani Kavasei the Rav. We have a brisa like Rav. Again, Rav holds. Well, let's see. Hadam v'amayim mashki beis mad b'chaya. Right, the blood and the water and the liquids from the shchita shenitmu that became tamei bein b'kelim bein b'karka tahir, and whether that liquid is in cups or whether it's gathered in the ground, it's their tahirin. Reb Shimon omer b'kelim tamein. Reb Shimon says in kelim they're tamei, and b'karka they are the tahirin. So obviously, it's saying that the blood from the Beis Shchita is not does not become tamei, right? So that's a raya to Rav. So the big kasha on this is mamash and yonah diyayma. So what do we just say? That according to Levi, liquids from on top of the mezbeach cannot make, according to all opinions, liquids that are on the mezbeach cannot make something else tamei. They themselves are tamei. They can't be metame anything else, right? Yeah? At least that much do we have. The oilams, I know it's complicated, but the bottom line is we're saying that according to all opinions, right, according to Levi, they don't become tamei at all. Right? Well, no, okay, it's debated. Whatever it is, they can't make the liquids, according to all opinions, cannot make anything else tamei. So what was wrong with the tamei oil in the Beis Hamikdash by Chanukah? They could put it into the menorah. What's the big deal? It's not going to make the menorah tamei. Right? Meaning, if you hold that liquids can make something tamei, and of course you can't take tamei oil and put it into the menorah, then you're going to make the menorah tamei. You're not allowed to do that, like we've been learning. You're not allowed to add on.
But they didn't want to use tamei oil. That's all.
Well, because they didn't want to use it.
Yeah, that's right. They didn't want to
that's
use
very
it.
nice, but you don't make.
That's the Kenukas Abayis. They didn't want to use tamei oil.
I know, but that's not. But yeah, but if the mitzvah is to light the menorah, and the halacha tells you that you can light it with tamei oil, so you got to light it.
Similar to carbon seaver. If you're all tamei, you still have to bring a carbon seaver. So what if you're tamei?
That's a different kasha.
I don't know, but I'm just saying The same
You're saying
way we say
similar
about
to
carbon
that.
seed. No, I'm just pointing out if Kohanim are tamei and they don't want to bring in carbon, it doesn't matter. They have to bring carbonis. Carbon seed they're mechuyev whether they're tamei or not. You have to bring what you could bring mitzad tumah.
Correct. Correct.
No. Where do you see that they brought the tumah when they were tamei?
No, the Gemara
tumah
says that. We've
utensils.
learned that many times.
Tumah
Tumah
utensils.
utensils.
Well, we're going to get
We
to
said
that
that
later.
We said it earlier. What do you mean? The Gemara said it earlier.
Excuse me, Reb Yaakov, they say tumah utensils by carbon pesach. Where do you see they said it by tamid?
Well, that's one of the kashas.
They said it by the pesach, not by the carbon tamid.
No, and a chanami. But they asked that kasha. What?
By tamid they say it more. We paskin tumah hudcha b'tzibur by Pesach. By tamid we hold hudcha.
Right. Because it's mamash.
One second, even without that, I'm saying they asked this kasha by the stamazah. They asked this kasha, why wasn't everything tahor when the whole Klal Yisrael was tamei by Chanukah? But that's not the kasha that we're asking here. Here we're asking, right? The bottom line is that oil can't be metamah, so it should be able to be used.
He's asking even more than that. He's asking that it can't become tamei b'chlal. The whole tumah is d'Rabbanan. If midiraisa it's tahor, then use it. I mean, what are they fighting about? The Rabbana gave it a din tumah, so what? But the Torah says it's tahor. Use it.
Yeah.
What about just the din in general that if something is tameh and it's a liquid, if something is tameh and it's a liquid, then the moisture can create tumah for that item, right? Don't we say that something that has moisture makes something?
You need to. The moisture makes things to kosher to be mekabel tumah. Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand the question so much. Why don't ask this about every day? Why did they seal the pach shemen to begin with? Why wait till Hanukkah to have the question? They could have the question on Tuesday. Why are they letting?
Why should they ever seal it?
Yeah.
No, because they didn't want it to become tamei. You don't want it to become tamei. I mean, you're saying no.
You have to look at all the achronim of Rumi to see about the Hanukkah Torah. Why they had that pach shemen. That's
but l'chayra, because Rav holds that the liquids can become tamei and be metama, and it seems like Levi also holds they can become tamei. They just can't give tumah anything else. So therefore, they sealed it because they don't want it to become tamei. That's what I think.
Can you say that they needed the Beis might not have had that type of status of the Beis Hamikdash? They didn't do Chanukah Sabayis, like the Chanukah Sabayis. They didn't reestablish it.
So Rabbi Rosner in his daf today brought this kasha from Shoel Meshiv. I did not look it up, but he had basically said Agav mentioned it in a second, and he said that once they broke down all the walls of the Beis Hamikdash, it lost its status of kedusha. And therefore, the din d'Rabbanan of liquid kicked back in because it lost. It was the Beis Hamikdash was lost. It wasn't a Beis Hamikdash anymore.
Right. So they needed to do Chanukah Sabayis to get that status back.
That's a sort of what you see. Mechavan to that, Akiva? You saw that somewhere?
No, I'm just.
You be mechavan? Very good. Very good.
Rav Elyashiv has a second piece, and he asks about hutra and hudcha, and he answers the same thing basically.
What's that? Your piece was from who?
Rav Elyashiv.
I didn't know. It didn't say who it was from.
I didn't. Oh, sorry. I thought I put that. I didn't put it. Okay. That's Rav Elyashiv.
Oh, yeah?
He has two pieces. He has two different questions. And this one he just asked that if midiraisa star, then it's star, period. He asked also, the Taisus asked on tumah hutra b'tzibur, on the oil. So he asks it, why didn't Taisus ask that it's hutra b'tzibur? That's what we paskin. We don't paskin hutra. So he answers that we do paskin hutra when it comes to Chanukah Sabayis. And since this was a Chanukah Sabayis, we hold hutra, not hutra.
Right. So, okay, but this is a little different. This kasha is a little different.
This answer. But the answer is the same answer. You hold hutra, so Mamela, it's more shver. That's why they should have used it.
Yeah. Okay, whatever it is, it's an interesting kasha. Fine. Now we get to a new shita. Second line down. Amar Papa, afilaman dorma tumas mashkin daraisa. Even according to the mandorma that says that liquids do become tamei min Torah, which means that the liquids in the Beis Hamikdash become tamei. Mashki beis mat bechaya hilchas gemirila. this, that the liquids in the Beis Hashchita don't become tamei, is halacha l'Moshe Sinai, right? That they don't become tamei. Meaning, we've been saying that if it's liquids become tamei d'oraisa, so then the Beis Hamikdash should become tamei. They should still be tamei because the Rabbanon don't have power over d'oraisas. Rav Papa is saying, no, it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai that even though liquids are tamei b'd'oraisa, but in the Beis Hamikdash they don't become tamei. Okay, a big chiddush. So Amar le Rav Huna Breda Rav Nasan le Rav Papa ve'elahad Amar Rabbi Eliezer ein tumah l'mashkin kol ikar. But according to Rabbi Eliezer, who says that there's no tumah for mashkin at all, Teda, how do you know? Sharei Heir ben Yosef ben Yoezer ish treda al mashki beis maduchayat dochon. That on the liquids they become tar. If it's Allah can we learn anything out of it? Meaning Rabbi Eliezer wants to prove from Yosef ben Yoezer, going back to Blat, that liquids don't become tamei, basing it on the Beis Hamikdash. If it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai that the liquids in the Beis Hamikdash don't become tamei, so then you can't learn anything out from halacha l'Moshe Sinai. That's a special din, right? But according to Reb Shimon, who says that liquids are tamei d'oraisa, the Tanya Reb Yosef Reb Shimon Ayrim, la'kelim tahirin, for kelim the tar, la'eichlin tamein, and for food that the tamei, right? That was also 2 blot ago. That kalim, if you have a suffix of liquids, whether they're tamei or not. So if the liquids touch kalim, it's tar. La'eichlin, for food, they become tamei. If they're in kalim, they're tamei and karka tahirin. And if it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai, mali kalim, mali bekarka, right? If halacha l'Moshe Sinai, right, that there's no tumah in the Beis Hamikdash, right? So what's the difference if it's in kalim or in karka? So kasha, the kasha. Yeah.
Is he saying that in the Chumash, the tumah is in the Beis Hamikdash, but Halacha l'Moshe Sinai is more than the Chumash? And in a separate Halacha l'Moshe Sinai it says it isn't, but in the Chumash it is. That's what
That's a good kasha. It's a good kasha. I think the Chumash doesn't really discuss the liquids in the Beis Hamikdash specifically. Just if we hold it's d'oraisa around the world, wherever in the world, then that means in the Beis Hamikdash it also has to be tamei. Right? There's no pasuk specifically saying that the liquids in the Beis Hamikdash are tamei, and with the halacha l'Moshe Sinai is negating the Chumash. It doesn't say that. It just says in the Welt, liquids are tamei d'oraisa, which means that in the Beis Hamikdash they also have to be, and then Mamela halacha l'Moshe Sinai is telling you otherwise. But I want ha'ara to give chizik to the olam, right? This is, I think, the 3rd or 4th time the Gemara says kasha, right? So the Gemara was having a hard time with this too, okay? Because every daf has a kasha, right? And without any answer. So I guess for those that are confused, myself included, right? It's kasha, no? It's a kasha. We gate weiter. That's how we go, right? Fine. Samara Papa. This that we say, that liquids that are in the ground are tar, which we discussed yesterday, right? Liquids in the ground are tar. Why? Otherwise, how do you ever go to a mikveh? Right? How do you ever go to a mikveh if liquids that are in the ground are tamei, can become tamei? Right? You go into the mikveh, you become tamei, right? So and this that we said liquids in the karka tahirin lo shanu elamayim. That's only by water. Aval dam loy, but blood that doesn't apply. Right? Meaning it's going to be tamei even if it's in the ground. And even water that's in the ground, that's only going to become tar if it's at least a riviis. The chazi lahatole machtem v'tzinaris, because it's chazi, it's fitting to toivel in it needles and little pipes, right? But if it's not a riviis, then the water is going to become tamei. Basically, the background to that is that really pipes and needles can be toiveled in a riviis because it gets fully enveloped, right? A needle is tiny. A riviis, right? You could stick it into a cup of 3 ounces and it could be tar. Chachamim made a takana that you need memsa for everything. But midairaisa, you could theoretically go to a puddle if you needed to toivel a needle. You midairaisa, you go to a puddle, dunk it into the puddle, and that's it, right? But we made a gezerah. So the bottom line is that, but it can only the water that's gathered in the ground can only be tar if it has at least a riviis, which is the deraisa. Good? Fine. So Omar Mar, new sugya. I mean, not new sugya, but a continuation, but a little bit different angle. Rav Yehuda Omer, right? L'chol tamei, right? Anything, Rabbi Yehuda says everything. Rabbi Yehuda's opinion was that liquids make anything that's touched by liquids becomes tamei. He's the most machmer. Right? Even it's a suffix. Remember the Savar Rabbi Yehuda, Tumas Mashkan Latami, Tumas Kalim Deraisa. Do you mean to say that liquids touch Kalim is a Deraisa? Vatanan, we learned in the Mishnah Kala Kalim Sheishan Acharayim V'Toich. Any Kalim that have an outside and an inside, Chagai and Hakarim V'Ksasais, like pillows and Karim V'Ksasais, two different types of pillows. Fasakin is sacks, Farmartzufin, and bags. Nitmu toichai, if the inside becomes tamei, nitmu gava, then the outside also becomes tamei. Nitmu gava, if the outside becomes tamei, loy nitmu toichai, then the inside does not become tamei. And then Amar of Yehuda b'med dvarim avurim shenitmu machmas mashkan. That's only if these kalim became tamei from liquids. Ava nitmu machmas sheretz, but if they became tamei from a dead sheretz, nitmu toichai, nitmu gava. If the inside becomes tamei, then the outside becomes tamei. Nitmu gavai, nitmu toichai, and if the outside becomes tamei, then the inside becomes tamei. So basically, Rabbi Yehuda is being much more makel by liquids than he is by sheretz.
Is this bedavka not by klicharis? Or is this bedavka klicharis? What are they talking about here?
No, it's not. It's any kalim. I think.
I thought klicharis, the pasuk says it has to be toichai.
No, I don't think it's talking about it. Yeah, klicharis can only become tamei toichai. That's true. But that wouldn't mean other kalim certainly can. It's just saying that if the tumah goes in from one side, then it's gonna go down.
This wouldn't be true by klicharis.
What?
This would not be true by klicharis.
It's two different. The kalim, the kli has two different uses. It can be used for the inside for one thing and the outside for another thing. Right? What would be an example? I don't know what an example would be. Like a pillow, right? We said like a. What do you say?
I don't know if it's inside and outside, but I said to Marshall, to Shmuel this morning, the Kiddush becha, some of them have, if you turn it upside down, it has a little becha that you can use for Kiddush Shabbos morning for schnapps.
Oh, maybe, so yeah, Taka, maybe that. Right? You use both sides.
Yeah.
I hear. So maybe that would be it. But that's the case. The kli cheres that you're talking about, Gershon, is just one kli. Right? Okay, so whatever it is, you see that Rabbi Yehuda is more makel by liquids. That liquids can be metame kelim deraisa. Mali nitnu machmas mashkin, mali nitnu machmas sheretz, and it should make no difference. It should be all the same halachas. So Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Chagai by Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda changed his mind, meaning originally he thought that they were tamei midaraisa, and then he changed his mind. Ravina Amar, so that's a great teretz. That's very understandable. He changed his mind. Ravina Amar loylam loy hada. Really, he didn't change his mind. Habim ashken habayin machmas yadayim. Habim ashken habayin machmas sheretz. No, there's two different liquids. One is liquids that becomes tamei because of the hands, which is why we wash natilas yadayim for bread. And habim ashken habayin machmas sheretz. And one is talking about machmas sheretz. Obviously, the liquid that touches machmas sheretz is much worse, more chomer than what touches hands. So then, what it says, "Ihachi adatani b'medvaramur m'shenitmu machmas mashkin." This that we said that this is only talking about if it became tamei machmas mashkin. Lift like v'listi b'dil. Why don't you separate it and differentiate that b'medvaramur b'mashkin abayin machmas yadayim? That this is only referring to liquid that becomes from the hands, that became tamei from hands. But mashkin that becomes tamei from a sheretz, nitma toichai, nitma gavai, nitma gavai, nitma toichai. That if the inside becomes tamei, then the outside becomes tamei, and if the outside becomes tamei, the inside becomes tamei. Ela machvarta kiddishnin meikara. That's like we said originally. Chagai by Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda was chagai. Right. Fine. Okay, I guess we could stop here. We'll let everybody get themselves some sleep. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow, another 3 blot, Akiva. Yeah. 3 blocks.
Hope someone's keeping
Hopefully
track.
we'll still have the Olam coming back. Anyways, yeah.
I mean, Lamaiza, yeah.
What are you saying?
gonna say Hanukkah is a time for Torah Shabbat Peh. You know, hopefully we'll get a second win for that then.
The next Hanukkah starts
You know
when we
what?
finish these 7 blocks. Thursday night.
Exactly. When it gets easier.
Although Kol Shah is a big Kol Shah in second parak is a very lumdisha parak. A lot of lumdis in there. Okay, but you know what? We'll take some lumdis. Maybe that's how they do it. They give you 7 blot of tumah and tara, then they make you want the lumdis. Maybe
I'm ready for some good stories.
What?
I'm ready for some good stories.
Oh, I got it too. I don't think.
Oh yeah.
Naftali Kanara, you have to say stories to your kids over Hanukkah, not for kids.
Yeah, but I need to learn some.
I go back to brachas.
Naftali, just go through the sugya. If you ask your kids this kasha that we asked tonight, bottom line is liquids, right? Liquids cannot make something else tamei. So what was wrong with putting the shemen into the menorah? That's all. It's a pretty straightforward question.
Right.
Right.
Yaakov, can you imagine if they had the entire Masechta Taharis? How many people would finish us?
I don't know. I don't know. You know what? But the truth is, it's only pashtus. It's only because we don't know anything about. We don't live it. No.
What was wrong with the oil in the Beis Hamikdash? It was Hanukkah miracle. You can't make it tamei.
Aaron Kaplan.
No,
that was his question.
That's the kasha. That is the kasha.
What time is Shachris Friday morning?
7:30.
7:30. Okay, fine.
I understand the kasha. What's the answer?
Aaron,
Yeah.
when you watch that video, if you ever understood why Reb Chaim got corona, now you'll know why.
Well, that I know also, but it's just fun to hear him say that, Reb Chaim. It's mamish tremendous.
I understand. If you want to know how he got corona,
yeah, it's not a
all over.
It's not a big chiddush how he got it. Yeah.
Which video?
It's a video.
On Yeshiva. It's on the Yeshiva world. Yeah.
What's the video?
Look at this. It's a 1 minute to Reb Chaim. It's geschmack.
That's on the interwebs.
It's
But if you see how they
so
talk to Reb Chaim, if you see how they talk to him, they basically go right in front of him and scream in his ear, and the guy's literally spitting all over him.
Hold on, I'm looking at it now. You know who that guy is, Peretz?
That's a Daddy's kid or something?
Yes. He wrote some of the Sforim from Reb Chaim, the Art Scroll Sforim that the
I knew the name sounded familiar.
Yeah.
He wrote the what's it called? The Archas Yasher, I think, right?
He wrote, he touched the Archas Yasher, which is good. Reb Aaron is still there? He's there?
Yeah.
If you're looking to daven with a minion outdoor, the Yeshiva Rockaway davens nets downstairs in the basement. You know how they have an outdoor steps?
Yeah.
You could stand there. I don't know how cold it'll be. I'm just saying, you could stand there. They daven nets down there. They've been davening nets in the basement. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyways.
You still have to. You remember I sent you a video also, Reb Chaim, where they were asking him to write a haskama for something.
No
he
recollection.
Said they asked him to write a haskama, and he asked them why, and they said because you're a big rav, and he said I'm not a rav, I'm a chamar. You remember I sent this to you, no?
Yeah. I don't remember seeing the video, but
I sent you a video. Yeah, I have to go look on WhatsApp.
We have our own private video of Reb Chaim. Oh, you recording, Peretz?
Yeah.